200 African Americans were killed. It was one of the worst tragedies in American history. But sadly, it was just another instance of black families being systematically robbed and exploited. Something that didn't end slavery, but continued with Jim Crow and redlining. In today's reading from Isaiah, do right, seek justice, and defend the oppressed, was the call to action. And that's what our Greenwood Initiative resolves. Following in the steps of Annie Lee Cooper, John Lewis, Dr. King, and so many more of our nation's heroes when we march across the bridge this afternoon. God bless and thank
you. Tim Tom back with news and politics. So yesterday, Mike Bloomberg spoke at a congressional black church, as you just saw in the clip. So he was at a church speaking, and we all know Mike Bloomberg and his stop and frisk policies in New York, to where every black person that looks suspicious needs to be stopped and frisked. And then we know Mike Bloomberg and all his sexual accusations against women. We know that too. And then we know Mike Bloomberg, who has spent the better yet of, last 10 years disparaging minorities, talking bad about Mexicans and blacks, which I'm going to show you a clip of that right now.
This cohort of black and Latino males aged, let's say, 16 to 25, that don't have jobs, don't have any prospects, don't know how to find jobs, don't know what their skill sets are, don't know how to behave in the workplace where they have to work collaboratively.
So as you see there, he always criticized minorities. They can't find jobs, they're not qualified, they don't know how to look. So now, as you saw to begin the video, he went to a black congressional church. Now that he needs support, now that he needs blacks to get on board, because he wants to win the Democratic nominee and unseat Trump and be president. Now here's the interesting thing about it. Black people are 13% of the population in America. We're only 13%. We're very small. But out of the 13%, only 8% voted for Trump. Only 8%. So the other 90% of blacks, 90% of 13% voted for Democrat. So what that means is that for you to be a successful Democrat nominee, you need the black vote. You need the black vote. Now remember, when he was in New York, he was just pissing all over blacks. Didn't care, stop and frisk them. He just didn't care. They can't find jobs, lock them up. He just didn't care. But now that he's running for president, he needs black. So he goes out to this black church, and as you can see, blacks were turning their back on him. So I'm happy to see that blacks aren't that gullible, because I'm in a group. It's called Sound Off. It's a WhatsApp app group. It's about 40 men. And there's some far left men in there that are drinking that Kool-Aid. They'll vote Democrat no matter what. Republicans are racist, white supremacists. And they said, well, Bloomberg apologized. And I'm like, what? Yeah, Bloomberg apologized, and then they're willing to support him. So the media has convinced them that Trump is so bad, even though we have 30-year record low, crime is down, the whole Black Lives Movement, I have not heard of. When the last time we seen a police shooting? So everything is actually pretty peaceful. We're not at war. So there's a lot of benefits to right now of Trump. But they've been convinced and social engineered by the media to think Trump is so bad, and that Bloomberg guy is now that he apologized, he's okay. But I'm happy to see that you can't just get in front of blacks and apologize, after all the stuff you said, all the stuff you done, and then go have the nerve to go to a black church and give a speech. It's all baloney. And Bloomberg has done a 180 on everything. I have clips of him saying Trump is a fine guy, and I'll do a video on that at another time. But Bloomberg has flipped on everything. I have clips of him calling Obama healthcare a disgrace. It's not going to work. It does nothing to solve the problem. And then he says, oh, I like Obamacare during a debate. So Bloomberg has basically been a politician and flipped. And not to act like Trump is perfect. Trump not perfect. You know, he did that whole Central 5 thing in the newspaper. He has had he discriminated against some blacks in his apartments and real estate. He's not perfect. He is not perfect. I'm not sitting here gonna be woo to Trump. Like, you know, Trump's not perfect. But I think overall, Trump had done a good job based on, you know, what I expected. I mean, they were telling us that he doesn't have the temperament. He can't do this. Hillary, he's not mentally there. And I think Hillary would have been terrible. I really do. I mean, she couldn't even campaign. She didn't even go to the key states. But back to Bloomberg. So yeah, so now Bloomberg is bagging. The recent video you saw I just did on Tom Snyder, he did juvenile shaking his ass to get blacks. And now Bloomberg's going to the black church and trying to get some of the pastors on board. Because that's what they try to do with black. They try to get a few pastors. They try to get Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. They try to peel off a few prominent blacks to support them. And then the rest of the black, they hope will be sheeps. And then just follow along and say, hey, we got to do it. We got to support whatever the Democrat Party serves up, no matter what, even though it's not who we want, even though there's no tangibles, even though we're probably not going to get anything, but we have to do it. We have to. And they'll fear you into doing it. They will fear you. They will say things like, oh, people died for you to vote. And if you don't vote, you're disrespecting them, which is not true. They will fear you. You know, they'll tell you, oh, he's going to be bringing slavery back. That they will fear you into voting for how they want you to vote. And you can't fall for the games and the tricks. So that's Bloomberg getting up there, talking how he has a plan now for blacks. He cares. And, you know, I didn't listen to the speech, but you know the baloney. It's all written. It's all rehearsed. It's all practice. It's not legit. It's not real. Bloomberg wants to be president, and now he's going to black churches, and he's trying to get them on board. But I liked how some black turned their back. They're not hearing it. They turned their back on him, and that's kind of, to me, that's a silent protest. And you never heard Trump went to black churches too. Nobody turned their back on Trump. That's not happened, and he hadn't had that issue. Now, of course, a lot of blacks, 8 out of 10 blacks think Trump is a racist, but they didn't turn their back on him. And Trump wasn't stopping friction, and Trump wasn't out here disparaging them, you know, for 20 years. So that's all I have to say on this video. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. I did see a couple of comments. I'm going to get to it. Been a little busy, but I'll get to the comments. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.